Most veterans think a VA claim is a list. One condition, then the next, each one standing on its own. But that is not how the strongest claims are built. The truth is that one condition can open the door to several more, and you never have to prove your service again to get them. They are called secondary conditions. A secondary is a condition that was caused or made worse by one you are already service-connected for. And here is why that matters so much. The hardest part of any claim is tying it to your service. With a secondary, that part is already done. You are only showing that one condition led to another. So this video is about how secondary conditions actually work and why they are one of the most overlooked ways a woman builds her rating. By the end, you will know how to look at a condition you already have and see the others hidden behind it. So the real question is how one condition leads to another, because a secondary is not a guess and it is not a stretch. There is usually a clear physical reason the first condition caused the second, and once you see the pattern, you cannot unsee it. Take a knee injured in service. That is your primary. But a bad knee changes how you walk, and that altered walk loads the other knee, the hips, the lower back. Months and years of that, and now you have a second condition, and a third, each one growing out of the first. That is a chain. One service-connected condition sitting at the root, and the others branching off it. Your job is not to invent that chain. It is already there, in your body. Your job is only to trace it and name it. And none of this is our opinion. It comes straight from the VA's own rulebook. The regulation is 38 CFR 3.310, and it says a condition that is caused by or made worse by a service-connected condition shall itself be service-connected. The door to secondary conditions was not something we found. The VA wrote it into the rules. Now let's bring this to the conditions women actually carry, because the chains are already there, waiting to be traced. The knee was just one example. Your strongest primaries usually start their own chains, and most women never file a single link. Start with mental health because it branches the widest. A service-connected condition like PTSD rarely stays in one place. It disrupts sleep, and that becomes a sleep condition. It drives tension, headaches, and migraines. It affects the gut, the appetite, the weight. Each of those can be a secondary tied not to your service, but to the PTSD the VA already granted. The physical chains run just as far. A service-connected back or knee changes how you move, and that altered movement wears on the joints around it. Chronic pain steals your sleep and pulls your mood down, and now the mental and the physical are feeding each other, each one able to stand as its own condition. This is why the women's specific primaries matter so much. The conditions most tied to a woman's service, the mental health, the reproductive conditions, the musculoskeletal wear, are often the ones with the longest chains behind them. One anchor, correctly claimed, can carry several conditions with it. So how do you find your own chains? You start with the list you already made, the one from taking your inventory. You do not go looking for new conditions. You look at the ones you already named, and you ask what each one dragged along with it. Take them one primary at a time. For each condition on your list, ask a single question. What has this changed about how I live? A bad knee changed how you walk. The PTSD changed how you sleep. Follow that change, because the answer is almost always another condition sitting right where the first one led. And be honest about the quiet ones, the conditions you learned to live around. The headaches you stopped mentioning, the sleep you gave up on, the stomach trouble you blamed on stress. These get dismissed as just part of life, but when they grew out of a service-connected condition, they are secondaries and they belong on the claim. You are not diagnosing yourself, and you are not proving anything yet. You are tracing one primary, then what it caused, then what that caused in turn. That map, drawn honestly, is the shape of your real claim, and it is almost always bigger than the list you started with. So let us show you how a secondary condition actually gets tied to your primary, because it can be far simpler than you think. It can start as an ordinary visit to the doctor you already see, for the things you are already being treated for. At your next appointment with your regular doctor, you mention that you are putting together a VA disability claim. Then you say that some of the conditions you are being treated for, you believe, may be connected to your primary, the one the VA has already service-connected. You are not asking for anything unusual. You are pointing out a connection to the doctor who already knows your health. From there, it is a normal conversation. You might say, "My knee has been service-connected for years, and since I have been favoring it, my back has gotten worse." Your doctor already has your history in front of them. They can look at how the two fit together and speak to whether one is affecting the other because they are treating both. And that is really all it takes to begin. The doctor who already treats you, the conditions you are already dealing with, and one honest conversation about how they connect. You do not need a specialist or a special visit. You just need to raise it with the person already in the room with you. So that conversation with your doctor is the real beginning, and it is worth knowing what it leads to next. When your doctor agrees your two conditions are connected, that opinion is only useful to the VA once your doctor writes it down. A written medical opinion is what links your secondary to your primary. A spoken agreement in the exam room on its own is not something the VA can act on. That written opinion has a name. It is often called a nexus, and a nexus is simply the bridge between your two conditions, put on paper by someone qualified to speak to it. You do not need to master the nexus today. You only need to know that it exists and that it is the piece that ties your chain together once the connection is understood. Getting that nexus written the right way in the language the VA looks for is its own step, and it is important enough that we give it a video of its own. For now, you are exactly where you need to be. You understand your chain, and you know a written opinion is what seals it. So once you understand that a written opinion links a secondary to your primary, you can start to see what all of this builds toward, because a secondary is rarely the end of it. One primary, traced honestly, often carries several secondaries with it, and that changes the size of your claim. Here is why that matters. Each secondary counts toward your rating the same as a primary does. So a rating is rarely built from one large condition. It is built from an anchor and everything honestly tied to it. A knee and the back and the hip that followed. A single service-connected condition can become the root of several. This is worth being clear about. The goal for a woman veteran is the same as for anyone. The maximum rating the evidence supports up to 100%. Not a lower ceiling because the conditions are harder to trace or harder to talk about. The same standard and the same rating when the chains are drawn correctly. And the way there is not a longer list, it is a more complete one. A strong primary and each secondary that genuinely grew from it, traced and connected one at a time. Done that way, a claim reflects the full weight of your service instead of only the conditions that were simple to name. You do not build that in a day, but you can see the shape of it now. One anchor, its chains traced, its connections written down, adding up to the rating your service already earned. That is the claim this understanding makes possible. Before you go, there is something to keep, the chain builder. You name a primary the VA already granted, and it helps you trace the secondaries that grew from it. It is pinned at the top of the comments. So tell me down there, did you already know secondary conditions were an option? I answer everyone. Nothing here is a promise of any particular rating. Every claim is different. What we give you is the cleanest way we know to execute. For Guard and Reserve, women veterans, step-by-step, or benefits news, subscribe to the channel that fits your fight. Next, we go into the piece this video pointed to, the nexus, the written medical opinion that actually links your secondary to your primary, and how to make sure it is written in the language the VA looks for. That is the step that seals everything you just traced. This was always in the dark. Now we are bringing it to light.